Okay.
Hello, Joe.
How's it going, buddy?
I'm back in the saddle, buddy.
Getting a little rest, had a few insurers and stuff like that. You're
Dude,
good to go.
yeah, but I've had I was gone for a week, little bits and dabs of work here and there. Tried to catch up this weekend, of course, didn't. And then, for 3 days, been downtown Miami doing the shows. And yeah, I'm
Well,
a little
I know you've been
overwhelmed.
doing the seniors tour. You've been doing the seniors tour for Chippendales. I know that. And you just got to remember, you're not 22 years old anymore. Okay.
No, man, I can't shake it like I used to.
Well, you're wearing those Spanx and everything. It's just not as fun, is it?
Yeah, the tips are way down. Way down.
Yeah, those ageist motherfuckers. No, it's to me when I go to those shows, it's the same thing. I'm just, I guess it's the standing around. It was worse when I used to work at them. When I was younger, and you're standing behind a booth on that concrete floor for like 4 days straight. It's like your ankles are killing you.
Dude, it's like, I remember that. Now, here's the interesting thing. This show, the first show had exhibits like that. This show only had like 7 tables of exhibitors, and they were like little tables right outside the speakers. This was really focused heavily on content. It was not focused on exhibitors at all. Like I tweeted Kyle Ellicott is a big venture capitalist in the Bitcoin space. He and Trevor Owens have it, and he did this show with 2 other companies, one that does infrastructure called Atlas, and another one that does provides institutional investors with holding what the fuck is the word I'm looking for when you hold people's assets?
Custody.
Thank you.
Custody.
So see, this is it. Everyone watching that's under 50, this is what happens as you get older. Words come in and then they go away, and you don't know what the word was. So just be prepared. Besides nose hair growth, ear hair growth, you start losing words. It's just fucking part of the process. It's just
what one of mine is? It's porpoises and pelicans. I was at my brother's place. I'd had a few beers, to be honest, but I saw some like pelicans flying by. Like, oh, check out those porpoises, and everybody's like, "What did you say?" And but it's the P. My brain races ahead, and it fires on P, and then it hits like water, I guess. Porpoises and pelicans. So I always mess that one up. So I just have to slow it down sometimes.
Yeah, the crazy thing is my brain still is functioning the way it always has in terms of the ideas that are rolling, the thoughts that are rolling, what I want to say, the context of it, everything. That's all working fine. But then there'll be a word, just a fucking word. Custody. Anyway, it was run by them. And this, I tweeted this. I said, I've been to more fucking shows than I can count. Like, just more shows. Chuck says at least it wasn't penises or words. Your P word, penises.
Oh, yeah. Or yeah, there's a couple of P words that could go there too.
Euphoric says, sounds like when you get older, it's like constantly being stoned. Yeah, just not as much fun.
Yeah, you don't have the high component. You just have the stumbling part.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I tweeted, I said, I've been to more shows than I can count. This one, I would put this probably easily in the top 5 of the hundreds of however many shows I've been to, conferences, expositions, conventions, everything. It was precisely run, like down to I was thanking, I was in the media room, and that's where the speakers were coming in and out. And I was thanking the woman and the man who were running all of the logistics of this. And it was run like a fucking machine. It was just so impressive. And there's a point to this. I'll get to it in a second. The content and the speakers were top notch. I mean, we're fucking watching Tim Draper, Mark Yusko, Anthony Pompliano, some of the biggest names in institutional finance, some of the biggest names in crypto and DeFi. There was no like, oh, let's just grab Joe off the street and not you, Joe, but let's just grab a Joe off the street and throw him up on stage because we got to fill a fucking slot. There was none of that. Like, absolutely none of that. Top level shit. Just absolutely fantastic. And remind me to talk to you about TaxBit in a second. So
Okay.
It was run beautifully. And what I told Kyle when I was leaving yesterday, the VC, I said, thank you for inviting me and giving me a VIP pass, which was nice. But this is a reflection directly on the way they are building and investing and doing things in the Bitcoin ecosystem, because they are a VC that's big in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're a big investor in Stacks. They're a big investor in projects in Stacks. They have 3 tiers of startup incubators for the Stacks ecosystem that they funded and built, he and Trevor. So to me, that's a reflection of to run something this well, to make it so that it's easy for everybody involved to really get there and get what they wanted out of it. People are spending $2,000, $2,500 for 2 days. They ran it beautifully. It was packed. Every bit of networking was fucking awesome. I met with the CEO of Draper X, which is one of Tim Draper's things. They're decentralizing venture capital and angels and family offices. Just a lot of really good shit here. That one of the best shows I've ever been to. I mean, I just everything about it was spot on, and it's a good reflection on the Bitcoin investment ecosystem and what they're doing. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, Kyle was the guy who hooked you up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, hey, Kyle, to get this level of enthusiasm from Brad next year, he needs to be in what I've heard called the new VVIP room. Very, very important people. That's what it takes to get Brad gushing and having a little love crush like this. Like, he wants to be treated special.
And the food was phenomenal too, by the way.
There you go. Yeah.
Intercontinental Hotel did great. It was awesome. It was awesome. Anyway.
No, so it is good when you hang with the dudes with all the money. The amenities tend to be a little bit better. That's what I found. So.
And just a quick note for all the listeners, we're supposed to have a guest today. I haven't had a confirmation come back. My system automatically sends out confirmation emails. I haven't had any time because I'm digging out from fucking 9 days straight of nothing but other stuff. So we'll see if he shows up or not, Joe.
Hey, that's right. Other stuff. Tell us about the Thanksgiving trip.
Thanksgiving trip was awesome. Didn't we talk about it on Monday?
No, we never talked about it. Or did we?
That's great. Yeah, we did. We did, Joe. You're having a 50s moment. It's okay.
No. I just thought I saw it all over Twitter, and I'm just not sure if it was a show or if it was Twitter where I saw it.
The trip was fantastic. I'm not a parades guy in terms of watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on TV, but it was fantastic. We were on the front row. I had a lot of fun. It was really cool to see up close the performers and them excited to be, in fucking Manhattan and thousands of people watching them. It was good. It was fun. It was a good trip. And then we did all the New York, we did all the New Yorkie stuff. There's a new fantastic experience. Here's a word gone.
Immersive.
Anyway, immersive high-rise experience. And it'll come to me what it's called, but it is a 3-level at the top of this building that are like all these immersive 3-dimensional light show cool things while looking out at the windows over the tops of Manhattan. It was absolutely nice. Astounding experience. Just these people did it. I've never seen anything like it. And I have a fear of heights and had no fear the entire time. It was really cool. I'll post some pictures sometime.
Good. All right. What next?
Quick, shout out to Crypto Mountain Drew, who tweeted out today that we are number 2 on his Spotify list of the most time he spends on shows. And he tweeted it out, tagged me in it. And I just said thank you to him on the tweet, but I want to shout out to him for acknowledging it, posting it up there. We're number 2 on his list. Beat the Scoop, beat the Stalwart, beat Chat with Traders, all big names in the business. So thanks for recognizing us, and thanks for pointing it out to other people. It's always appreciated. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm not even sharing screen, am I, Joe? That's your job. Make sure I'm sharing screen.
Share that screen, Brad. Aren't you already sharing the universe one, right? No, I know. Here we go.
Here's Drew's tweet. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. This is Mr. Durov, the CEO of Telegram, sent out a message yesterday. If you remember the backstory, Niblet says it's easy to lose track of Brad's vacations. Joe must be recalling the other vacation updates.
Yeah, there's I think we've had 3 or 4, right, Niblets? I mean, I think we're going to change Brad's name to @ perpetual vacation.
Wait. Well, because guess what's happening Monday?
Vacation. Your cruise. That's right. But you're doing the show from the ship. So
I'm going to do the show from the ship, and it's going to be a working cruise. My wife's going to go off, play at the pool, do whatever, and I'm going to be working the entire week. But we'll go off to the Bahamas,
and it'll be like this. And live from Miami on the Lido deck, it's VO5 Crypto. Free drinks for everybody.
Now that one was kind of forced on us because we had to use the credits before the end of the year from our COVID non-cruise. Anyway, Durov is the CEO of Telegram. And if you remember, the backstory was Telegram was building its own blockchain. And Niblets, when I die, I want to come back as Brad's luggage. Or you could just, when I die, marry my wife because she's the one that makes all this shit happen.
That's right. We know Brad. Yeah, it's his wife is the heavy lifter over there.
Hell yeah. She's the one that she is fully focused on us living experiences, man. That's I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Cool. I love it.
Brad's going SBF hunting in the Bahamas. I will be at the beach in the Bahamas at one point next week. So, maybe I'll go knock on Sam's door, see what's up.
Take a Ledger X with you and just hand it to him and say, come on, need a little help.
I'll get this back on show for you. Don't worry.
We're looking for a sponsor.
According to his New York Times deal book interview yesterday, he's down to $100,000. That's what he said he has in his checking account. I'm not.
Oh yeah, his checking account, but but not. He didn't say what he had on chain, did he?
No. And he said he has one credit card left.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't have any.
Yeah,
but they have.
Exactly. He's just fucking this up, man, because he doesn't come across as sincere. I think so too. He doesn't come across as sincere. He's ignoring his attorney's advice. He's fucked. He's just. It's arrogance again, man. It's that whole cult leader arrogance bullshit, and it's gonna fuck you every time. It never ends well. It never ends well. So
yeah, it's what's interesting with, again, I don't want to get lost on this topic again, but it's that the cardinal sin was that you took a bunch of money from TradeFi basically, and they FOMO'd in, not realizing, wait, this shit's not guaranteed.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then of course you screwed up by them taking their money without their permission. That's the big thing. But
said in the deck that it was guaranteed. He said in the deck in their rounds that the returns were guaranteed.
Yeah. So, lots of mistakes there, obviously. Yeah. But he needs to shut up.
Yeah.
You can't talk your way out of this. I can't believe they're letting him talk. I think, this one broader thing you talk about leaders.
He said in the interview yesterday, they told him absolutely stop fucking doing this shit. And he's just ignoring them.
Yeah, maybe he's going for an insanity defense. I don't know. But it's like, this is like, dude, just stick the gun in your mouth already and get it over with. Because you're doing it in slow motion already. You just don't realize it.
He's lying. I will tell you, I did. He follows me on Twitter. So I did DM him this morning and said, dude, look, you are not coming across as sincere. You need to come on and let me interview you. And let's have a real sincere conversation. He'll never respond. But anyway, it was just, You
never know. I mean, he seems to have that same trait that a lot of people have, that need for attention.
Yeah.
And, and that's what's kind of sinking him now. I mean, you see it in other personalities like that too. I mean, it's like to promote and grow a business, let's say, you have to go out and gather all this attention. You got to promote it.
Yep.
But then when the shit hits the fan, you really want to be doing the opposite. You're kind of trying to lay low a little bit and wait for something else to pop up that's really worse than your story, and just kind of try to ride it out and change the cycle. And, nothing but contrition, blah, 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 but never, oh, I fucked up, I think I heard him say, or I mismanaged. I mean, you just sunk yourself, dude. Completely, because then it shows intent too. But what I was getting to real quick is that when you have someone like that and the high profile investors that he had around him, that's what makes all the VCs like SoftBank or Sequoia or whomever not do due diligence properly because they say, oh, Sequoia's in this. They must have checked it out. That becomes you expect that it's all clean. So I could see people FOMOing in like that. But I guess to me, it's more that, when you pay all this money to, say influencers. I mean, he was doing the TradeFi ones, obviously, the DC guys buying, contributing all the politicians, both sides of the aisle, evidently, hanging with big time political celebrities. You get that kind of cachet where everybody wants to be part of that. And so they start losing the rational evaluation process and start chasing that celebrity status. Remember that guy who a couple years ago was hanging out with Anne Hathaway, the actor, the female actor, and I think he had the guys from some big hedge fund on the West Coast, I can't remember which one, and he was running around telling people that he could get a discount on property owned by the Vatican or something like that, like 20% off.
Yeah.
So everybody was buying into it. It was a total, he had a conversation with somebody there, but there was no deal. But all these big, I think the usual suspects, some Bushies, some Tony Blair, some Clintons, some whatever. There was all those big names in it. And then they all saw him with Anne Hathaway. And then this other big hedgy dude. And so everybody thought it was for real. And they all go in and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So when you give all that money away, I think the thing that's not being said is you're buying that is what you're buying.
Yep.
Okay. And that perception of legitimacy, because these guys are all for hire. They're not, they're not objective because they're getting paid to hang out.
Yep.
So this happens in all business. And I just want to point out that happens a lot in traditional finance. And it seems like SBF had that game figured out pretty well.
Totally did. Hey, guess what chart this is? This is the last 24 hours. Oh, 7 days. Sorry, 7 days.
Oh, no, I know it. I don't need to spirit swap.
Nope.
I can't see it. Geist?
Ton coin.
Ton, yeah. I've been thinking about that. I was looking at Ton today. I'm glad you brought this up. Good.
So this is the post that Durov, the CEO of Telegram, put out. Quick back to story for everybody. Telegram built a blockchain. The SEC said, give back all the money that you raised to build the blockchain, which was $1 billion, I think. So they did. They released it open source. A bunch of people took it over. Project has been rolling. And then a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember when they launched it. A few weeks ago, they launched a project called Fragment to buy and sell usernames on Telegram. And that has done $50 million worth sold in less than a month. And he announced in this Telegram message yesterday that they are now building out an entire suite of decentralized tools, DEXs, yada, 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 to deploy on TonChain. TonChain is the open source version of the chain that they were building. Things are growing pretty rapidly there. This is a not Solidity based, not an EVM based system. It is a language called FUNC, that is a C kind of based language. High performance, fast transactions, fast settlement times, comparable to Solana in terms of speed. And so when he announced this yesterday, that's what we got here. So from
I love it, man.
171 to 188, back down to 173, and hanging around $1.79 right now. So I'm actually there's a part of me that loves this because it's got the built-in, all of the dApps that get deployed get web interface and get a Telegram bot interface, right? You got however many hundreds of millions of users in Telegram already, right? You've got communities and groups that are thriving and that have all kinds of potential to be selling shit, to be investing together, etc. This to me, I have a little bit of ton, but this to me is going to make me go a little deeper dive into what's being deployed on this chain.
Yeah. Let me just ask a quick question. First of all, I've been looking at this since we talked about it a few months ago or a few weeks ago, and I saw it at $1.04, and I was trying to decide what to do. And I looked at it this morning and I saw it at $1.80, and I was like, oh, I guess that thesis was probably right. what we talked about. But here's what's really intriguing to me, and I don't know the technical specs, so maybe you do, but it seems to me just the way that Telegram is built, how it's so purely decentralized, where you're basically, carrying around almost like node's not the right word, but, in your phone, you have, it's on every smartphone around, let's put it that way. Right. Now, my question is, if you lay in DEXs and, all the crypto protocols that he's talking about, I would presume that all the data going back and forth is within the Telegram encryption protocol.
Well,
right?
So whatever you do, if you're initiating actions via the bots in Telegram on the chain, yes. Telegram has nothing to do with it if you're using a web interface to the chain, right? So just like all the dApps we use today on Ethereum or Solana or Polygon or whatever, those have a web interface to them. So every dApp that gets deployed as a bot in Telegram, and also gets deployed with the web interface. So if you're using the bot, you theoretically have the same level of encryption that you would have on your phone. Now, I have to clarify one thing that you just said. Ultimately, Telegram is not a decentralized system. The chain is a decentralized system in theory, but the Telegram itself, everything you do, the connection you make when you're doing a secret chat or whatever, it still initiates through Telegram servers. Now, it is encrypted, and that's one of the things that Durov is constantly talking about. He constantly rants about WhatsApp being unsecure and unsafe.
And Signal too,
Signal, yeah. So the answer to your question is, if you're doing everything through the Telegram bot. So, and you know me, man, I love a command line interface. I think there's so much potential for people who are interacting in Telegram to do financial transactions, to do dApps, to do investing, and to use this blockchain right now. And clarify, there is zero reason for people deploying dApps on Polygon, on Phantom, on wherever. They can also deploy dApps in Telegram as bots, right? You can have a wallet in Telegram that works with other blockchains. It doesn't have to be just Ton. But
that's interesting.
You have this centric approach for something like Ton, and that Durov, if he's investing developer time into building dApps and applications for this blockchain, and I'm sure he has a big chunk of fucking Ton, right? I mean, he was the one that built it originally. I'm sure he bought a shit ton. Then your expectation is you're going to see a lot more happening with Telegram users, because now he's taken himself out of the line of fire from the SEC for owning the chain and deploying the chain and raising money against it. But that doesn't stop him as not being a US citizen from deploying dApps and applications on this chain and making them available to Telegram users. So a quick note, the Figment fragment application that allows you to buy and sell usernames, and they're adding other functionality to it, Shizzy says, this is the first time I've heard about Ton. Could you explain what it is? Layer 1. Yes, it's a layer 1. It's a custom built blockchain built by the developers at Telegram. Telegram raised $1 billion from VCs to deploy it. They were going to make it an integral part of Telegram. And the Congress and SEC in the United States said, no, you're not. You're not going to be doing that. And so they killed their internal development of it. They returned all the money they raised, and they deployed it open source to a team who's been developing it ever since. So fast, high speed, block time is 5 seconds, finality under 6 seconds, transaction performance is high, complex transactions performance is very high, as opposed to low speed and very low speed on Solana. Sharding support, cross-shard communications. I have no idea what the impact of that is from a technology perspective, but it's got a community. It's got a few bots out there. It's been growing slowly. There's a pretty good community around it. I've done a bit of a dive into what's going on there, but things like Telegram making a move like this to actually deploy dApps on it. We can already see the impact on price, right? In that 24-hour. Look, I mean, he sends out that Telegram message, and this thing goes from $1.71 to $1.88 in minutes. I think
because everybody uses Telegram.
Yeah,
everybody uses Telegram. I mean, that's where all the communities are in crypto. And you think about it, that's where all the big stuff is really going on, in my mind, versus say Twitter. I think there's more activity on Telegram.
Niblet
says, know how to find it.
Niblet says it's also an old project. I first read their plans back in early 2018, so it is not a Johnny come lately. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, they've been building on this tech for a long time. And Shizzy says, "Oh, kind of like what Facebook did with Aptos." Yeah, sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm getting more excited about it, and to find out that those devs at Telegram are actually deploying apps, and that they drove 50 million in sales just selling usernames on the chain, to me is really impressive. Really impressive. By the way, US users, I assume that all of his apps will be this way that he deploys. You must VPN into any Telegram built apps. They are blocking US folks. So Fragment, all of those, make sure your VPN's on. I did it this morning, works fine on my phone. Anyway, they are going to deploy more things for sale. They're going to deploy other dApps. I'm just, here's what I haven't done yet, Joe, and this is what you and I need to do. I need to go in and see what other applications have been deployed on Ton. I don't think Ton is covered by DeFi Llama. Let me check. Let me check.
Yeah, I have not looked at all. But yeah, no, I mean, I've always been super impressed with them, and I like as you pointed out, I like the fact that, when Signal markets against Telegram, they always say, the first thing they say is, oh, he's Russian. And then you're like, well, kind of Google the shit up, dude. It's like, you see the history of what happened when his company was seized by Putin, and he was forced to sell the Russian Facebook, basically.
Yeah.
And so he left the country, citizenship other places. He's on the roll. His developers, he pays a shitload of money to, because everybody's always trying to co-opt him. So he's paying these guys like $5 million a year or something like that.
Yeah, and he didn't make a penny on fucking Telegram for years.
No, yeah.
They just now started offering advertising. And
he did when he potentially was going to get himself in trouble by selling Ton, in the U.S., he cut a deal and remitted all the money back to the investors. So he plays this right. And I kind of like the fact that it's encrypted once from you to the server, and then when it's relayed, it's re-encrypted again. I kind of like that double wrap encryption, or that double time encryption, versus one single endpoint all the way through. To me, I just think, because I know sort of where the general idea of where the servers are, but I know that they move around, so I'm not worried about that. But again, I love the fact of laying all the crypto stuff in the middle of that. However it shakes out, it's just your comms going in and out of protocols and platforms is just that much tighter. When you throw the layers of other stuff you got going on, like you said, VPNs and things like that.
Well, here's what's really interesting. If you look at the kind of highlights of the chain itself on their website, there's an external messaging capability built in. There are other chains that have this capability, but the Ton blockchain and the contracts it hosts can receive external messages from other blockchains and the web in general. This means that one can send a message to a Ton smart contract. Now, a message isn't necessarily a communication. It can be, do this, take this action, give me this data, right? Without having an on-chain account. So you can actually make it so a fintech application could interact with data or smart contracts on this blockchain without actually being on-chain, right? So the potential here is, if you think about, because they have this Telegram interface already and all this user base, the potential is to all kinds of friggin' integrations with Telegram. Telegram already has a shopping cart functionality. So if you have a group around your products or services, you can embed in Telegram a shopping cart. So, this opens the door to, and they have the ability to view web pages within Telegram itself now, right? So they have streaming functionality, all of this functionality that we as users go off to the web to do, or we do other things to do. Telegram is like trying to move all of this in and be the interface to decentralized blockchain, to streaming, to community, to groups, to social media, etc. Like, if you look at it, there are countries in the world like Russia, etc., where the number one social media app is Telegram, right? That is actually where social media happens, because in the Telegram interface, all of that is to say that the potential with this chain and with this product and with Telegram is, to me, extensive. It doesn't mean they're going to do it right. It doesn't mean there aren't problems. I haven't done a deep dive on the tech. This is not investment advice. You do whatever you think's best. I have a little bit of play in Ton, but nothing massive. But I am taking a deeper dive. I want to look at the developer ecosystem. I want to see how active that community is. I want to see what dApps are being built and deployed. But if Durov is going to start putting dev muscle into dApps on the platform, which I assume will have some level of integration with Telegram, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Look, this is kind of okay. First of all, Durov, you have to remember, not you, but everybody, that he sold his Russian MySpace. I think even getting shaken down, he still got 400 million for it, if I remember right.
That was it. That was the number.
And then he starts Telegram and has obviously taken this to a huge success. And now he's going to layer in another play that involves, crypto basically in the platform.
Yeah.
To me, I don't see how you don't bet on him to succeed with this track record, and with the community and with all the natural attributes of being on a platform like that, doing crypto. It's just like another layer of security. Exactly. On top of, all your other security practices. So to me, I really think that this is one to look. I think it's also kind of the nail in the coffin one for, say, Cardano, Stellar, all the like old stuff that doesn't have a future vision. This has a future vision. This has a captive audience. Those groups all had to go build communities by giving away tokens and stuff and doing ICOs. This guy's already got a community.
Yeah, he's got a giant community.
Yeah, and to me, I think everything I see about it is positive.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but be careful if you're going to start coming in now. Remember, as Brad said, it's moved a lot in the last couple of months. So do that if you're going to do it. Do something along that 25% rule, so you spread out your entry points just in case there's anything. I mean, my feeling, I was watching the macro guys this morning. Talking because of the Fed stuff from yesterday. And, I kind of think that because of the way everything's lining up this time, that macro kind of is going to lead crypto in the way of crypto not being risk off, still being risk on, in the sense of like equities or something to that effect. Yeah. Because I don't think it needs to all go bad for crypto to do well now. I have a feeling, if we're right on our thesis that so much institutional money, I mean, not our thesis, but Pomp's thesis and a bunch of other people's thesis, that all that institutional money is already in, it's just waiting for something to trigger an upside move. It's the same guys that invest in S&P index. They're then also allocating, if they're institutional, they've got some in, some way playing in BTC world. So to me, if their equities traditional side returns are cranking, it only leads to more allocation into the crypto side plays. Yep. They're going to start parking more. So to me, I think that could be a huge driver going forward. And that's why I feel really positive right now about where we are in the market, crypto wise. I just feel it like it's, it's not doom and gloom to me. Yeah, exactly. I'm seeing, when I like just talking about this project ton. I mean, this is, my read is, I'll say it right now. I think in the next cycle that is going to crank. Yeah. I don't know where it's going to go to, but you can't. I mean, I could see it outpacing Solana, stuff like that easily. Yeah. Because it has an underlying business and commerce already going on.
Yeah,
it's not crypto dependent.
It's got the potential to fulfill the money piece. Remember we were talking about this a couple of months ago, the fact that we've done great at dApps and all that other shit, but the actual buying and selling of shit with crypto, it happens. Don't get me wrong. People do. I do. I've bought stuff before with crypto, but it's not like a core part of what we do with crypto. We're investing with crypto. We're building projects with crypto, but we're not like, I'm not buying shit from Amazon with crypto. I'm not buying shit from vendors, but this has the potential to open that door a little more to that and getting people to build it and do it. And, have an integrated wallet in Telegram that lets me just buy from my favorite stores, right? Maybe there's a model where somebody builds like an Amazon-like interface in Telegram to a bunch of different stores that are in Telegram. I don't know, but I think it has a strong potential to do that. I'm like I said, I'm excited about this. And the other part of me is I just love a good bot-like command line interface. And I think there's a lot of potential from that perspective as well for Telegram.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely one to watch. I think when I was doing my three top 10 lists, like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. I think they were sitting, I finally ended up getting them on my third list, I believe. Just because I think, it kind of fits in that longish term category to me,
Right.
but not like where you're betting on a decimal point and 7 zeros and you're buying 30 million. Like, it's not like a poly doji kind of thing,
Exactly.
It's going to be all hype. This is already a real business.
Yeah.
So to me, this is something like, this is much more along like kind of the digital strategy stuff of the late 90s, where you were taking core analog businesses and adding revenue streams around digital stuff that hadn't happened before. I mean, up to that point, IT was a cost center. It was an expense. It was all system admin. So you got into revenue. I look at this and I say, it's almost like he's doing the same thing. He's kind of adding now the crypto revenue stream to the platform. I mean, it's a good play. Definitely one to consider. That's for sure.
But Bitcoin's had a little bit of recovery. ETH's had a little bit of recovery last couple of days. So good to see, right?
Yeah. BTC was up over 17 earlier today. I think it's retreated a little bit below, but anything like that, that's all positive. That shows, to me, that shows the same thing. Institutional money, after listening to Powell talk yesterday, realized the next rate hikes are 50 or 25 is what it looks like. Dare I say, potentially, nothing, because they're recognizing that they have to tone it down now, that the effects are happening. But they still want to they're at 4, they still want to get to like 4.5, 5, but they're basically saying they're not going to tank the economy over this.
Yeah.
So to me, that gets all the institutional guys happy. And so, again, you see activity across the spectrum, I think, because of that. Well, now, like anything, other people are going to trade against that and they're going to try to, make some money. But to me, that's a good trend. I mean, that's a good initiator that makes me positive.
Yeah.
So again, I feel, but I lean positive. But when I'm like stressing and stuff's not looking good, I mean, me, I can't sit there. I'm like losing it when I'm waiting for the bottom to drop out. And I don't feel like that. I don't feel like I'm waiting for the bottom to drop out.
Me neither. Niblet said, I missed a couple of comments. Niblet said, WeChat makes me very uncomfortable by extension any comms app that tries to wrap too much. Interesting. Which Telegram is doing, right? But he says, but at least the CCP doesn't have board seats on Telegram.
Yeah. I mean, WeChat, every time I used to deal with some of the latest group of Chinese were mainly the life sciences people, and they always wanted you on WeChat. I'm kind of like, no.
Yeah, I have
it. That into my phone.
I have it, but I use it on desktop. As Shizzy says, makes a good point. I have not done any dive into tokenomics at all on this project. 5 billion tokens with only 1 billion circulating. He says, man, the tokenomics are rough. That's back to the ton blockchain.
Yeah.
And I have no idea the mechanisms. I don't know what the burn rates are. I don't know anything. So that's something else that we need to dive into besides what projects are on there. That said, I think when you have that many users, that may wash that out a little bit. But I definitely agree that that's a little bit concerning from that perspective. But we'll take a look.
Yeah, well, look, the key point, like you said, Brad, is that look, if you're doing an ICO and you're marketing tokens, let's say, or a TGE, and you come out with the big marketing campaign, you dump 20%. Well, everybody who comes in early is then sitting there on like a trigger finger, waiting for dilution and ready to dump at any time. Yeah. I think that. And then, of course, you're then building something that is right now a white paper. So it's like there's a lot of execution risk there. To me, I feel like the platform is essentially built at ton because of Telegram, in my mind. I mean, the community and users and the ecosystem and all of that's already there. So I'm not as worried about the emissions on that. I mean, I'm looking at it, yes. But to me, I think it's more about accommodating the future users in Telegram and making sure that there's enough, like M1 supply, let's say, in Telegram to fund, all the commerce.
Yeah.
Just like you think about all the commerce on Facebook around the world.
Yeah.
To me, I think it could generate that level. And so I would be thinking that might be what it's for. But definitely good catch, Shizzy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Chuck brought this up. I completely forgot to bring it up. So thank you, Chuck, for bringing it up. He said, so Uniswap doing NFTs and airdropping USD. Did you guys talk about that yesterday? No, we did not. But thank you for bringing it up, Chuck. Uniswap had acquired a NFT platform called Genie. And so at the launch of NFT trading on the Uniswap platform, they decided to reward the past users of Genie. I think it's $300 a pop for anybody that did completing more than one transaction, or $1,000 for holding a Genie Genesis NFT before a snapshot taken by Uniswap in April. So it's in USDC. You get $300 if you were a past user of that platform. So be sure and check it out. But this also brings up, like, excuse me, Uniswap is kind of the engine of swapping default in DeFi altogether, but obviously there are plenty of competitors. But moving into the NFT space is a really significant move for them, and a significant move for the space. I haven't looked at all, Joe, at what that looks like, right? I have no idea what
I haven't been on Uniswap in a while. I was on Sushi Swap this morning, and I was also on Quick Swap. And I was on Spirit Swap. Yeah. But I haven't been on I mean, because that's on ETH predominantly. Every other platform or chain has other choices that I like better, I guess.
Here's the NFT interface. Yeah, look, I mean, they're an OpenSea competitor now.
See, great idea to me. I mean, look, you're already doing like setting markets for tokens. I mean, I don't know if you're setting the markets, but you're already facilitating that for customers. So now you're facilitating like NFT listings. And the next thing is, however we start trying to figure out NFT liquidity pools and things like that. Yeah. And, fractionalization of NFTs. You're already a financial services site. I mean, I think this is a great move for the space.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, you've got a competitor in OpenSea that's centralized, that blocks actions, So if this is, and I don't know, I got to look closer at Genie, but if the platform is truly decentralized and they're not a gatekeeper, then that opens up a lot of possibilities for people. It also gives them an opportunity. Look, I mean, you've already got a platform that's composable that people use for swapping tokens. It makes complete sense that this will be available from a developer's perspective to integrate with other platforms, right? And people who are already comfortable with, trust Uniswap as their trading engine in their DApp or whatever, are going to be comfortable with NFT engine as well. So I think this is actually has a ton of potential. So Chuck, thank you so much for bringing that up. I really forgot about it.
So you had to have purchased the Genie NFT before April? Is that it?
Yeah, or done X number of transactions, yada, yada, yada.
On Genie or on Uniswap?
On Genie. On Genie. Oh, basically, they're rewarding the past customers of Genie.
Yeah, I've never made it there. So, did you ever do anything?
No, I had nothing. Yeah. Hadn't even heard about it before this news. So
yeah, no, but I like it. Again, the space, the NFT space in general, as we know, is pretty much in the crater right now, but it'll rebound. So making moves like this in a down market, they're like low cost moves, and you get so much potential strategic bang for it, bang for the buck. I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, is this? Oh, it's showing. So they do a comparison table of the bigger NFT projects and how many listings are on Uniswap versus OpenSea versus X2Y2 and Looks Rare. That's interesting. So they're just doing a direct comparison. Bored Ape Yacht Club. Look at this. Look how many people. This is pretty fucking astounding. Uniswap has. Wait, go back. For Bored Ape Yacht Club, Uniswap has a 66.80 ETH floor with 693 listings for sale of the Bored Ape Yacht Club versus OpenSea 69.44 ETH floor, 537 listings. This is in like 2 fucking days that they're overtaking OpenSea for the biggest projects in the NFT space. That's
I think everybody's sick of OpenSea at this point,
Yeah.
I mean, after the insider trading scandal there, and and then of course everybody's, NFTs are off probably 95% right now.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting on it waiting for the next run. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I was looking at them the other day just to see, hey, did any of these who was the Searlight ones? I was like, any of these going back up? No, there's nothing moving in the space at all. So, when then you get all the scandals where we take the big hits in DeFi. It just takes disposable income away from people that would
Yeah,
normally could go
absolutely.
to NFTs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll just take time, but it'll be back.
Yeah. Wow, look at Doki. Oh, wait. Oh, they're also pulling in from outside. That's interesting. I wonder if Doki did an integration. Anyway, let's see. Niblet says, I know peeps love to dunk on Doge, but how the hell is it still top 10 and grew an order of magnitude greater than space average over past week? I don't get it. Dude, it's all about, it's all about community. It's all about the cult of it. It's all about the hype of it. It's all about the Elon of it. It's all about all that shit, dude. I mean, Elon's actively engaged with the Doge community. He's working with the development team there, from what I understand. It's all of that. And I have no problem with Doge, like none. I love the community. I love the fact that they started off from the beginning, doing a lot of charitable shit. I love that it's a joke. I don't love all of the copycats, but I love this. I love that there's a segment of this world that's fun, and that people have made money on, and they're chasing it. I don't like that people think this is all of crypto, who come in from new and, I got Doge and I got fucking ADA. Okay, no.
Please. Oh, and I invested in USDT too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're going to get 300x, dude, on USDT. Go for it.
Yeah, that I want to change, but it's also a hook, right? Everybody knows the name Doge out in the normie world. Everybody knows kind of the connection potentially to Elon Musk and Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, Jizzy, this is an awesome point, dude. Doge is no longer a meme coin; it's a community coin, and I really believe that. I totally believe that. And they've got rejuvenated effort around it. New development team, new money developing it, new board. So, from my perspective, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a gateway. I think it's an entryway into crypto.
It is what it is, but here's what's interesting to Shizzy's point, and let's think back about Ton for a second. So Doge has a coin and then builds a community trying to get people to interact and do stuff. I don't really know what people are doing in the community. I suspect it's, basic community stuff on Discord or something like that. But you look at Ton and you realize what the activity on that community that's been going on that really didn't have a token at the beginning. And you could just see when you see that, and what's Doge's market cap? Probably 7 billion or something right now.
Yeah.
And you go
13.56.
Okay. Yeah.
1.64 billion traded in the last 24 hours.
So I would venture to say that Telegram's community is significantly more robust than Doge's community at this point. And I'd also venture to say that there's a lot more going on Telegram than on Doge now.
Yeah. Look, in fairness, when Doge launched years ago, it launched as a joke. And then the community said, well, fuck it. We've got this community. Let's do charitable acts. Right. And so they built the coin around doing charity and tipping. There was a lot of tipping activity, tipping people for cool posts on platforms, et cetera, tweets, whatever. Well, now they're trying to build out more around it. And, Elon's funded some of that. I think Mark Cuban funded something there. So here's I do agree with you. I do agree with you that the community potential for Telegram and Ton is dramatically larger than what Doge already has over all these years of build. And the point you're making, I think, is that when you got hundreds of millions of users that you can expose a token to and dApps and DeFi to in a format and user interface that they're used to, that's some tremendous fucking potential.
Yeah. And my point is not to diminish Doge. I mean, it's not my favorite. My point is just to say, if Doge has a $13.5 billion market cap, to get to the level of, say, comparable, maybe not exactly doing the same thing, but the same level of, say, economic value of community exchange in that community.
Yeah.
I mean, the market cap has to get to like $100 billion to get to, say, what Telegram has now.
Right.
So my only point is that Telegram is so far ahead right now in that area. And all they got to do, like you said, is just lay everything into the community that's crypto related. I mean, that just makes and I'm not talking trash about Doge. I'm just using it as a comp. But that makes the whole Ton argument even stronger in my mind. Yeah. When you see, where they need to get to
Well, and this is interesting because Because Shizzy said, Raul Paul said a while ago that the next cycle will be community coins. Last cycle was meme coins. Dodge will probably lead again. You know, that
Interesting.
will probably lead again. You know what? That makes a ton of sense. And it also ties into exactly what you're saying, Joe, right? Look, we're seeing community tokens. We're seeing influencer tokens. We're seeing all this capability being built around communities. It's what we as humans gravitate to. We have our communities on Twitter. We have our communities in Telegram, whatever, you know, and I will tell you, for Material Indicators, we've thought a lot about doing an NFT kind of thing for our subscribers, or a way to leverage the community into the crypto ecosystem. And so I totally agree with that. I actually think that the community coins will be a big part of it. And I think that sub communities of each coin will be a big part of it as well. So I really like that. And I think that feeds directly into what you were saying, Joe, is.
Yeah, I think it all fits. I mean, it's just an investment thesis. And when you see the other ones that are working so hard to build communities, and then you see that ton already has it, it just makes you go, oh, okay. Yeah. It's going to be easier to like user adoption and things like that, because you don't have to build it and then go find the people. You know, I mean, Doge has tons of people. That's not what I'm really trying to compare it to, but I just think it's a tremendous advantage. So it's definitely one I'm paying attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, you know, you're right on the community stuff, because, you know, we see it in social, we see it everywhere. We're social animals. You know, we really do want to communicate. These be with others. And these electronic interfaces, while promising in, say, the functionality of it, don't deliver the holistic elements of community building. And anyone who can kind of, you know, the feeling of safety, or everything's going to be okay, all those kind of basic human needs, whoever can do that in the most real way is going to win. And I think that people also want to have trusted communities. You know, like, just when you think about all the Twitter arguing and things like that, and everybody keeps talking about that. And, you know, it's funny. I mean, I haven't been doing much of it the last week or so. I kind of got burnt. But, you know, I don't see obviously we don't want propaganda and disinformation. But, you know, when I just start blocking a few people that I don't like what they're saying, or it's not what I care to see, it just tightened the loop down. I don't see anything that I don't want to see anymore, which is good and bad, I guess. But it doesn't get me, it doesn't make me upset, because I'm not, or, you know, there's nothing, I'm not seeing anything that I don't want to see. Let's put it that way. The way the media is portraying it is that everybody's just getting, you know, slammed with all the propaganda and stuff. I mean, I just, you know, I blocked Elon, so now I don't see any of his shit. You know, it's like, but, you know, it's not because I don't think the guy or respect the guy. It's just because I don't want to see all the arguments back and forth. Yeah. You know, and so it's tightened up. It's made it a trusted community for me now. Of course, I've weeded out a lot of the people that I don't want to hear from, but you do the same thing in anything we do. Bacteria do it, animals do it, humans do it. You know, there's that need to connect. Yeah. And so anybody who's got that, you're right. Community coins, that is going to be a cool play.
Yeah. Tomorrow's guest, Sean, XBT, on the show. We're going to talk about some chatter from Bitcoin Maxi Land, and see what else he's got going on, where he thinks we are in the market, all that good shit. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I always love when he comes on the show. It's always fun, and I get to catch up on all my BTC homework.
There you go. Awesome. That's all I got, Joe.
Yeah, I think it's look, I think we're in a good space. I mean, holidays coming up. You know, this is the 1st, right? Yeah, December 1st. You know, I just feel like the U.S. is going to pull off this soft landing. And I think Europe's going to be okay. Yeah. And then the rest of the lead. And it looks like even with China, you know, now China is like saying, oh, F the lockdown. They're going to just pull the plug on everything. And, you know, I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because they have huge under-vaccination rates at the over 60 level. Probably going to be a lot of bodies. But, you know, nobody cares at this point. And at least none of the money people do. And if China market's going to come back on, you know, you look at all the luxury brands, LV and everybody, they're all popping. Yeah. So, you know, that means more support for Europe and Western markets in the sense that capital transfers, et cetera. So I'm feeling really good about that part of the market. Yeah. I don't know how that translates to crypto, but at least it's not going to drag it down.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's awesome. Shizzy said, got to get the hat, gloves, and coat ready. The polar bear tomorrow. Well, let's go.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. All right, dude, let's wrap it up.
All right, man.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Shizzy, Niblets, Chuck, Euphoric, thank you so much for participating. Drew, thank you so much for the shout out on Twitter. We love you and appreciate you. We love and appreciate all of you for listening, watching, telling your friends about us. If you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, or listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, subscribe, help us boost our ranking in the algorithm there. So when people are searching for DeFi, they find us, or crypto, etc. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the little bell to make sure you get alerted when new episodes come up. And while you're watching, please smash that thumbs up button so we get a boost over there as well. We appreciate all you. We'll be back tomorrow with Sean, my favorite Bitcoin maxi. Look forward to chatting about his thoughts, and I love just turning the show over to him mostly. So that'll be fun.
No, it's fun because we get to have it's like a quick, it's like a jam session basically on BTC. And that's what's fun because we just riff with him basically.
Yeah. Plus, he gives me perspective on the market that I'm not thinking about during the week because I don't dive into the same shit he does. So I'm loving it. It makes me come back out of it. And after spending 2 days with a lot of Bitcoiners, I'm really excited to see what he comes out with. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll just have to pop some popcorn and kick back and listen to the exchange like everybody else.
All right, Joe, I'm clicking end broadcast. You ready?
Yeah, be safe, man. Everybody, have a good day. If you're doing anything, be safe about it. Quarter steps in, measure risk. But, we're feeling pretty good out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Cheers.